Hey, folks, welcome to InTheMoneyStocks.com's daily analysis video, brought to you by the creators of proprietary price, pattern, and time methodology. Learn the PPT strategies and profit for life. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. All right, everybody. Into the action we go today on this nasty sell-off day on this Thursday, January 13th, 2022. Look at the selling taking place here, folks. And what's crazy about it is the volume's not even that heavy. You know, for this type of down day, you would assume you'd have a lot more volume. And in all fairness, it's not that heavy. So that's actually even more bearish. Yesterday, we kind of had a sideways day. I thought we might be able to go higher. Today, the markets opened up green on the day. You could see right here on the intraday 10-minute SPY chart. But look, we never took out yesterday's high, and it lasted for about 30 minutes. Maybe there were some buyers that were kind of buying in there. And then once that was over, down we went. Down, bounce, and then down. Markets have about 10 minutes to go in the trading day, and we are still selling off. All right, now what's bearish about this now, right, is that you have basically this level here, which we're hitting now. So you guys see this random kind of weird trend line I just put in right there? That's actually the close from, let's see, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. So remember the reversal day we had on Monday? That's the closing value. We're currently at that. What does that mean? Well, it means that we have just negated all of Tuesday's and Wednesday's moves to the upside. We have just wiped them out in one session. So 2 sessions up, 1 session to negate them. That is never a good thing, folks. All right, now ultimately, you guys know I do believe the market will ultimately go lower. That's why we have positions in DXD and QID and some of these other ones. But bottom line is, you know, it's the question is when, right? Is time up now? We know the Fed is tapering. You know, you have to keep in mind, I've been pretty straightforward on that I believe that with the tapering in the markets are, or with the tapering being removed from the market, it's the opposite of what happened when the Fed was printing and pushing money into the system, right? So instead of inflating the bubble, it's now deflating. So to me, it's a no-brainer that we're going to go down. It's just a matter of how long does it take. I think what you do is you refer to the daily chart and the uptrend, you know, parallel line trend that we've been in. When that breaks, you can officially say game over. Okay? All right, guys. So, again, here we are with the markets. You can see a little bounce coming in right now on the spiders. My guess is, again, that has to do with the fact that we are now back to Monday's closing value. Do we sell off more tomorrow? I think it's a decent possibility. I think you could get a little bounce initially, but keep in mind, it's a 3-day weekend. And investors, when they get smoked like this on a day, when the markets are down nasty, they're very hesitant to buy in going into a long 3-day weekend. Now, we got economic news this morning, PPI numbers, which is Producer Price Index. It's inflationary numbers or inflation numbers. And it basically came in right in line with expectations, which still, just like yesterday's CPI, tons of inflation, but it wasn't a surprise. And I think that's why the markets opened up higher today, is because people were like, okay, we knew that, no big deal. Problem is, it didn't last. And we did get some comments. Brainerd was on the Hill today testifying, which is a Fed president. And I think, again, you know, as much as the rally got kicked off over the last couple days by Jerome Powell's kind of lighter comments, you know, more dovish comments, I think then they kind of, the market always looks at like anyone who speaks next is always being conducted by the Federal Reserve Chair, right? So the Fed Chair probably didn't like how the markets took his comments. He might have said, okay, they took it too dovishly, now walk it back a little bit, and then you could see what happens. Lael Brainerd walks it back, down the markets come, right? I mean, down it goes, just like we've seen so many times in recent history, right, in recent days. All right, so again, bottom line is you are getting a little bit of a bounce right here on the charts. You can see this upsloping trend line. I love trend lines, and this shows you just why. So you can see how we hammered on this for days here. Then we came down, we broke it, and then look how you checked back. That's called the scene of the crime, checking back to that level. And then to the downside, we went the rest of the day. Again, volume will probably turn out to be about 75 to 80 million, but considering the sell-off, that certainly isn't a lot, especially in technology. Take a look at tech here. The NASDAQ 100 down 2.5%. That is one heck of a nasty day. In fact, take a look at this. This is the value. The close from Monday is right here. So you can see the tech sector is actually even worse off than the S&P, which is no surprise, right? With higher interest rates, tech is what's going to feel the pain. And you can see it is below that level, down again 2.5%, almost $10 on the QQQ. All right, a couple things to go over. You guys did see I began to inch back into some positions, and again, it kind of just reiterates how important it is to be nimble in this market. So again, when you're looking at this market, folks, we know we took profits on TDOC the other day. We took it on Peloton. We took it on SE. Well, today I felt comfortable inching back into those positions based on how much they have been smoked to the downside. If you look at where some of these things were trading just a few days ago, it's remarkable. Peloton, 37.5, down to $32 now. I mean, basically in 2 trading days. Boom, from this high to where we are currently. I mean, really remarkable, heavy, epically hard sells. TDOC, much the same, guys. Take a look at that. Trading just below $78.50. And again, this was at $88, so it's down $10 in a couple days. And SE, equally as impressive in terms of the fall. This was trading at $206 yesterday morning at the opening bell, and then it's trading now currently at just about $180 on the session. Now, it did have a double bottom here. This will be a major support. I will likely add there. Remember what we did? We actually added there the other day, which helped us get our average down. And then when we did see the bounce, it was a beauty, and we got good profits out of it, absolutely. NET is selling off. This is one I didn't take profits on. I wanted to leave a little on the table to let it run. That was ultimately not a smart decision, even when it got up to 122 yesterday. You can see it's all the way back to basically sub 100 at $99. And the question is where do we look to add to this position? And again, the answer is just going to be simple. You just look at the chart. So there's a level here. That's your next add level. Pivot high right here going back to early 2021. That was around $94, $95. So basically another $3, $4 downside, and we'll look to add. That should be your next big support. If it continues lower, this will be your next support right there, and that is at 87. And again, it's all about the charts. We let the charts dictate to us what the heck is going on, and we can maneuver accordingly. Okay? So again, starting to inch back in. And again, when I first buy, I don't necessarily expect it to be a profitable trade right away. That's why you leave yourself so much room. When I do 1% of like an NET, NET I'm fine with having as much as 5% of my portfolio in. So it's really just dipping that toe in the water. Same thing with SE and same thing with these other ones. It's just kind of dipping your toe in the water, and then you can ultimately add. And I think that's the key, is really to be nimble. And right now I have a little less than 2% of my portfolio in NET, so I could easily up it to 5%, no problem, and bring my average in if needed. By the way, we're only on this stock. One day it moves $10. So, it moves up $10 from here. We're back in the money. Not that big of a deal yet, but we want to be able to maneuver absolutely. Okay, let's go to the daily charts here as we flip over. Take a look at the daily chart of the spiders. The daily chart of the spiders a couple days ago kissed that upsloping trend line. If we continue to sell, I think next time down we take it out. So just be aware of that, in which case you would go here. This would be your next stop on the S&P 500 right here. But right now, we're still quite a ways away. If we got another sell day like today, we would be right at that line. Wouldn't that be interesting going into the holiday 3-day weekend coming up here? All right, going to the Qs. The Qs, look at this, right back down, bouncing off of this trend line. Remember, we were below it the other day, and then by the end of the day, we recaptured it. This is huge, folks. Absolutely huge in terms of where this is on the chart. Do we stay above it into the close today? It certainly looks like it, but then the question is, going into the 3-day weekend, can we stay above it there? All right, the Russell today, take a look. The Russell was actually stronger than the rest of the market earlier. It continues to be so, only down 0.85%, but nonetheless still coming down. No support on the Russell that I think is interesting until you get down to this trend line down here and this pivot low there. That will be support, and then if we zoom down, you have more supports just below. As of now, like I said to you guys before, I have no intention of messing around with IWM yet until we get a much bigger move in one direction. So, because right now this is all chop, right? Lots of chop really going sideways. I'm not ready to pinpoint a level yet. Again, it would have to either surge probably to up here, maybe that would be a short. Or if it collapses, I honestly kind of think that this area down here would get me interested. A major sell to just below the 200 even number, this gap fill right here, that could get me interested on that front. Now, cryptocurrency, let's touch base on Bitcoin. Bitcoin selling off today. This is again the one day chart, the daily chart of Bitcoin. Bitcoin this morning was doing great above 44,000, and then the stock market started to sell. I mean, it just is that simple. I mean, again, you have occasionally an individual coin will get pumped, right? But when you're looking at the big players like Ethereum and Bitcoin, bottom line is they're trading with the stock market. The last few days, the stock market was up. Bitcoin was up. Today, the stock market began to sell, and you could literally see it on the charts. As soon as the stock market started to go down, Bitcoin started to go down. So that is what it is right now. At some point in the future, in the long future out, I think they will decouple. But again, that is not at this point. So on Bitcoin, really all you're keeping an eye on here, I have a couple levels I want to show you guys here on the Bitcoin chart. And again, let me just zoom out a little bit more here so we can see a little bit further back. But basically, you have a trend line here on the chart. You could see, just going back to here even, this is where we bounced right there, right? So right at the 40,000 level, and then you also have this 40,000 support. So you're still holding support on Bitcoin at this point in time. If 40,000 breaks, and there's the market closing, then you would absolutely take out, 40,000 and go to 30,000. 30,000 would be your next stop. All right, markets just closed. Let's flip back to the spiders and just kind of take a quick gander at what we have here. Bear with me as I'm just getting my charts all set up here. Some pretty wild action there on the markets into the end of the day. And again, spiders down 1.3%, so a very minor bounce into the end of the day. You can see a little bit of a tail there. So again, remember, we defended that Monday close. That's exactly what we did on the QQQ. Same thing. Defended this trend line right to that trend line again. I mean, I tell you, these trend lines are just remarkable, absolutely remarkable. Okay. All right, let's go to gold today. Gold has had very strong days. Today, I would actually classify it as, again, strong. What do I mean by that? Well, earlier in the day, gold was down here. And then by the end, it closed down only 50 cents or so, 58 cents on the day. Yes, it was a down day, but if you look at the recent run in gold, that's actually not much of a down day, right? Especially considering we saw selling in the markets. Now, granted, sometimes when you see selling in the markets, people rotate into gold. I'm a big believer that you're going to see more selling in the stock market, therefore more rotation into gold. And again, just one of the many reasons, including the inflationary reasons, the money printing reasons, that I continue to be a full-fledged bull on gold. Gold miners should do very, very well. Doesn't mean they won't have drops along the way, right? But ultimately, if you're looking 6-12 months out, I got to believe that gold has a significant move to the upside. I was looking at this chart here, folks, and if you take this low here to this high, and then you assume this is a whole base of consolidation, and then you do a measured move, I mean, you're basically talking, what's that move? From 110 to 195, so you're talking 85 points. So, I mean, you could be looking easily at 250, 260 on the GLD when that measured move fully plays out, maybe even a little bit higher. And again, that's just one way of analyzing potential price target, but certainly something that gets my attention. Okay? All right, so that's where we stand on this front here. With that, let's take a look at silver real quick. Silver pulled back fractionally as well, down about 0.5%, which for silver is not much. Still holding up right underneath this resistance line. Again, watch to see if that gets broken. I think it tests this gap fill here, which is also right into this down-sloping trend line. We'll watch to see if it breaks out. Oil today down a little bit. So again, you pierced the high on the USO, but remember, you never took out the WTI crude high. But either way, the double top working perfectly here on the USO, bringing in the price of the USO a small amount. 1%, considering the recent gains, is nothing to write home about, especially considering the heavy sell in the markets. Question is, do we see follow-through selling in oil in the next couple days or not? All right, so some very interesting things going on here. By the way, a couple stocks that I will be looking to potentially accumulate again. Another one would be this one, Square. Square has the bottoming tail right there. I wouldn't mind buying down here if it opens lower tomorrow. I think that is a very, very interesting one. A lot of stocks out there, a lot of these beaten down names starting to look semi-interesting. I want to take a look at Mara here too. Yeah, Mara down big too. Wow, look at that drop on Mara. This is a Marathon Digital, which is actually a Bitcoin play too. So the idea is, if Bitcoin were to move back up and hold 40,000, then this would do very well. This is another way to play Bitcoin. Eventually, by the way, I do see Marathon going here and then eventually here to fill these gaps. It's just a matter of when. All right. Really, that's really all I have for you guys. Wow, what a day. What a day, folks. Again, this market, the volatility that we are seeing, don't be surprised if it lasts all year long. You'll have quiet days, but overall, you're going to have a lot of action. UVXY had a great day, up 10% today. I still think that's going to have an even bigger move to it. That's why I continue to hold on to it. And again, we'll watch and see when or how long it takes for that thing to have one of those monster moves where we get 30, 40% out of it. All right, have a good one, guys. Thanks as always. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.